Hey, I'm Peter, and this is my twin Comanche. So last time I took all the cowlings off the engine, took it over to the maintenance hangar to find the problem. We're leaking oil from the spine of the engine, which is where the two halves come together right at the top, specifically right here at the lifting bolt, which is above the center bearing on the cam. So I got a method worked out for how we're going to fix it for my mechanic, and that's what we're going to do. I got 3 products I'm going to use for this. One is Loctite 290, which is a wicking grade Loctite. One is red silicone 736 is what they actually used to put this engine together in the first place. The other is just some MAK. So we're going to clean up the oil off of the split in the case with the MAK. I'm going to hook a vacuum up to the engine and put the whole case under a vacuum pressure. Then I'm going to put the wicking Loctite. Hopefully it'll suck it in. Then the one bolt that's going to have to come out is going to get coated in this silicone. Everything's going to be put back together, torqued up, dried, and then we'll test it. Step 1, getting some of the oil out of the engine because I'm going to put vacuum on it, and I want to vacuum up all my oil. Well, that's going to take a minute. But ow. While I'm waiting for the oil to slowly drain out because it's super cold, I need to block the engine breather, which is back here against the firewall, and I got another one right here on the bottom. I'm going to put vacuum to the motor, put a giant hole in it. Well, it won't develop any vacuum. So, a little bit of duct tape, do the trick just fine. There we go. And pull the dipstick out, clean it off, and I'm going to hook that vacuum up to the dipstick hole. Yeah. Kind of dirty. Okay, clean the shop vac up a little bit. Take this tube, stick it over my dipstick. Oh, that's a tight fit. Ah, no tape required. I got lucky. Here's that spine. It's essentially a split seam. I'm going to pull this lifting eye and that bolt out. I need to clean all this up as well as I possibly can. For that, I have a glass syringe and a bunch of MAK. You do it with a plastic syringe, you'll just have a giant mess of gooey plastic and no MAK. These chemicals I'm going to use need direct contact with metal. So I'm pulling all the paint off the top of my spine so it's got something to bond to. All right, I got to pull the lifting bolt, the lifting bracket off the engine. Oh, that was loose. I'll get lucky and that was a problem. Some of you may be wondering, what if I destroy my engine while I'm doing this? Well, my engine's already destroyed. I'm just trying to save it. To really fix this right, you gotta split the case halves, and that is pretty much a rebuild. Also, the idea is pretty sound. Came from a Lycoming tech rep. Oh, look at that. That's all oily. I'll bet you the oil's coming from that bolt hole. That's awesome. And I'm under the supervision of my IA, so we kind of signed off on the whole project. Now I gotta clean out that hole. This is what the syringe is really for. You get in there and you can really squirt it around. And I use a little bore brush used for cleaning pipes, like smoking pipes, not pipes in my house. Okay, I got the hole cleaned up. I got the crack cleaned up. The next step is to do the MAK on the seam and in the hole with the vacuum on to get oil out of wherever the hole is going into the engine. All right, all cleaned up. Here's the start of the show, the Wicking Loctite 290. I turn the shop back on and let the engine case get under vacuum. Then I take the Wicking Loctite and apply it to the crack and into the bolt hole. So next is going to be this 736 red sealant. So I was told to try and pack as much as I possibly can in that hole. There it comes. That's pretty full. Take the bolt, add some more to the bolt just for good measure. I'm going to attempt to create a hydraulic ram with a bolt by plugging in the hole on the backside and shooting the bolt through the hole. Oh yeah, I can feel it pushing. There it goes. That is pretty doggone packed in there. Forgot to put the lifting hook in there. I'm going to start over, fill it back up, plug the backside. Get my nut on the back. There we go. Well, shit. So first problem is I can't get to the nut on the other side with the torque wrench. You're supposed to torque from the nut side, not the bolt side. So I'm going to torque it from the bolt side. I'll run it by the mechanic later, make sure that was okay. My torque wrench, and this is 95 inch-pounds. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Okay, there it is. All the tools are covered in this orange goo. Tries to look like a rubber-like substance. And your torque wrench needs to go back down to 0. Otherwise it can lose its calibration. And it's not mine. I borrowed it from my mechanic, so definitely want to make sure it's clean when I return it. That about does it. I'm going to clean my mess. I'm going to put my oil back in my engine. I'm going to wait a couple days because it's sort of chilly. Let everything dry. And then I'm going to fire it up and see if it worked. Thanks for watching. See you next time.